Yo guys, what up, Viper here, and today we have pretty crazy news again, right? A major update for Illuvium. We are super close to launch. It's about 3 weeks left until we have mainnet, but there's a snapshot now. There's like another 10k Illuvium tokens that we can get just by doing quests in the game pretty much, right? And because it's on testnet, it's like a beta, it's still like everything free. So doing those quests is honestly pretty fun. I've been playing a lot. I've been enjoying this patch a lot. And yeah, I want to go over the changes and I want to go over, I guess, like my first strategies, ideas on what I think is worthwhile doing on this like airdrop gameplay optimization stuff as well. Because I mean, I don't know, we're beta testing a game, but we kind of play for the quest, the goals, right? Want to complete them and we get some tokens on top of that. So this was the major article, right? Illuvium patch 0.4.2, Overworld and Arena, Forge and UI overhaul, instant crafting navigation. We'll jump in game and look at this a little bit, but yeah, Forge and UI looks way better. It's way cleaner. I'm pretty happy with the UI. I think there's like a few quality of life things that I would like to see added in the future still, but hey, there's always something more to be added. Certainly super happy about this. Onboarding and menu changes, right? Redesign main menu layout, things like that, customization, drone selections, cool stuff, right? Quality of life, UI, UX upgrades, nice. Weapon and a suit rework. So I'm not gonna go in depth on this. We can talk a bit about more later because some of the missions are arena and combat oriented, obviously. So I'll talk about arena and maybe give you guys an arena team and so on as well. But basically, the old weapon system with bonding is gone. And now the weapons for your ranger are just like pretty powerful weapons, and the weapons have composites. The stage 1 weapon is like a fighter air, stage 2 is like fighter arcanite, is like air arcanite, and stage 3 is frost arcanite, for example. So they just follow the same logic that the Illuvians follow. And the weapons are way more powerful, and the suits are also more expensive and way more powerful. So your ranger is just maybe even the strongest thing that you have on the board at some point. Then we have various changes to a bunch of stuff, right? Like flint cap, consumable bug fixes, mastery point adjustments, encounter mods nerf. So the encounter mods are weaker, which makes the fights easier, but it seems like so far from me playing, I don't think I've read this exactly here, that there are more Illuvians on the enemy side, but with the weaker encounter mods, they are a bit weaker overall / same strength kind of the fights you're facing. Maybe if you face like some super difficult combination, okay, it's tough, but if you face like a triple damage mod encounter thing before, it was really tough, and those are more beatable now. So I think that on average the encounters probably vary less in strength, because there's not this like 2 or 3 broken strong encounter mods combo anymore that's like super powerful, because they like multiplied in power. If there were 2 different damage buffs, right, they like acted not additive but multiplicatively. So something that's like, you do 2x damage and you have 2 times 2x damage, right? Then you do 2x on top of 2x. That's like really crazy. And those things are nerfed as far as I understand this, so that's good. And what this means in the end, it's probably that encounters are about the same difficulty, but you win with more stability left, so you can throw more shards at the enemy. So you can just like try some random rare shards onto your 5 Illuvians or whatever, and I don't know, you can throw like 7 of them, so there's no real downside to just trying 1 or 2 times of the cheap one, right? It's like my main takeaway there. Team slots increased. Now we always have 8 weapons for 8 Illuvians for suits and 4 weapons. It just makes one of the drone chips redundant. It's like, okay, it's like chill quality of life improvement, I think makes sense. A bunch of things of like drone chips and so on. Fusing, now you need gems to also fuse Illuvials. I mean, yeah, there's like another sink for gemstones, right? We didn't really use them a whole lot before. It makes a lot of sense. Mega deposits are faster to extract. A bunch of like user experience updates, essentially, right? So a bunch of other stuff here. You see leveling in these screens now after you win fights and so on and so on. Just quality of life upgrades. The encounter one with the fight, I think that's the main relevant one on like gameplay that might be relevant to us later, talking about the missions. And then we have here the missions. Missions user interface rework, missions tab, missions pinning. And we'll just look at the screen in a second, right, after we're done with this, and then you can see this. Oh yeah, dailies, the timers may be relevant, right? Dailies and weeklies, they reset between like 0 and 0.5 UTC. And there might be like a second until they like show up on your accounts and once you finish and so on. It's like stuff like that, right? Airdrop thing, okay, so now we are in pre-season 2, right? Starts with this update, mission system, complete dailies and weeklies, missions and milestones to accrue airdrop points. Event missions, which are time limit objectives, will be spread across this pre-season check back daily. So yeah, I mean, we have to check for these like event missions things. That's interesting. Outside of that, we'll look into the mission board in a sec. And then fixes and known issues. Okay, just like more fixed stuff, and we're done. Now let's look at the missions interface. So how do you get here, right? Like usually, I don't know, let's say you're on your fuel exchange site or somewhere, right? You go to your profile, you top right corner, right, where your account, your passport account is, you click on profile, you're here, you click on the missions tab, and you have your missions. You have everything, arena, overworld is 0 here, and then you have milestones here. The pretty relevant thing is like, because we're playing for like airdrop points at the moment, right? That's like what we optimize our gameplay for. So which quests give the most rewards, basically, right? Now, dailies and the weeklies. Oh yeah, this one, for example, if you probably are still on this week. If this one doesn't finish when you fuse something, it means capture. There's like a typo here. But outside of that, you see a lot of these give very different amounts of points. Like this gives 375 points, catch 30 of these morphopods. Like on a time to quest basis to point basis, this shit isn't worth it. Like I'm not gonna finish this. Maybe if some morphopod is annoying me, I'm gonna shoot it, and that's how I got to like 5 here. I'm not actively gonna pursue this. It's not worth my time. Fight 15 encounters in stage 2. I did this. After checking into the milestones and getting deeper into all of this, I also wonder, is this worth it or not? So you have to, for yourself, kind of figure out what's like, okay, how difficult is this quest for me? How much time will I spend on this quest? How many airdrop points do I get? And that's like the main theme that I want to like give everybody here, because we can, for example, check the arena quest. Reach wave 20 in survival competitive, 680 points. This is maybe like, if you're good at survival, like if this is not a skill issue for you, it's maybe like 30 minutes kind of thing, right? Maybe an hour, something like that. 30 minutes to an hour. Oh, yeah, that's 680, 30 minutes to an hour. Like, remember these numbers. The other one was also like about 1,000 per hour. 2 Ascendant Arena mode games winning. Well, if you just go to 0, this is maybe like a 20 to 30 minute thing. If you don't go to 0, maybe like an hour again. And then play 3 survival in competitive mode. Play literally just means you go in and you play 1 round and then you tap out again and it counts for 1 play. I don't know if they will change this or whatever, but you can like kind of game that, right? So playing 3 survival game modes, I don't know, it's like 5 minutes. You just go in, you kill the first thing, and then the second thing you just play your ranger only and you lose and you die. Overworld, catch 20 for 100. It's like, again, it's like, no way this is worth it. It takes forever. Fight 5 encounters in stage 2 for 200. Fighting 5 encounters is also like a 15-minute, 20-minute kind of thing, 200 points. Capturing a tier 4 Illuvium, 1600 points. I mean, that's like not that difficult, right? Okay, so we have the gist on these things. Now look at the milestones. Milestones are just quests that are there always. There's no daily or weekly or anything, they're always there. So for example, play Ascendant Arena games, win Ascendant Arena games, and so on. I think this is like nobody's gonna reach this. 5,000 wins, 10k games. You don't reach this in like the span of time that we have currently. This is more like a mainnet kind of quest. I think like realistic things is like maybe reaching like top 10 and rank 1 even. But the arena stuff, I think overall, this is like really inefficient to do points wise, because 5,000 wins, this is like even 1 million point, it looks crazy, but holy shit, it's so hard to get here. Play 10,000 games. I think currently you can like just, I don't know, probably surrender games after 1 turn or something. So maybe you can get to 10,000 if you really want to like go for that. But even that seems like it's taking a lot of time for 200,000 points. Like even if this is like, I don't know, 20,000 minutes, 20,000 minutes is what, like 300 hours? No. So let's get to essentially the capture all alluvials. Capture all alluvials and forge all suits and forge all weapons are things. And capturing like capture like all tier 3 stage 2s, all tier 3 stage 3s and so on. So I think these are the relevant things that you want to do. I think the tier 0 is like probably like not worth it again. It's like there are too many of them. It's too hard to get these. These are like what you do at the end to get the capture all Illuviums if you have done everything else, in my opinion. Capture all tier 1 stage 1s, for example, 36,000 you get for this. So we had figured out that like a lot of these like dailies and weeklies were like about 1,000 per hour or something like that, sometimes even less than 1,000 per hour. This does not take you 36 hours. Like capturing all tier 1 stage 1 Illuviums, how many are there? 1, 2. You just do that on the side of capturing everything else anyways, right? So even if you specifically would go and look for them, it's like maybe an hour task, maybe a 2-hour task for 36 times what the daily or weekly gives you, right? And at the same time, you also capture a bunch of other stuff. Let's say capture all tier 1 stage 2s. Now stage 2s are a bit more rare, right? It's a bit harder to get them, but still 100k points. Like, you will eventually capture all of these, right? Like we've been skipping them in the hollow farm era and so on. And the same goes for like everything down here, right? Like eventually you just go and do all of this at the same time pretty much. So the amount of points that you get per like hour, so to say, is gonna be crazy compared to what you get to dailies and weeklies on the capture Illuviums. And I think the same is true for forging suits and weapons. As for example, forge tier 1 stage 1 suits. There's like 3. These are very easy to make and they give you 6,000 points. Probably like an hour task or something. They don't need that much ore. It's really, really not hard. And then like the stage 2 suits, right? It's again only 3 suits. This is really, really easy to make all of this stuff. Then the higher tier 1s and higher stage 1s, obviously they are harder to farm because they need a bunch of tier 5 materials and so on. But I mean, you're just gonna shoot ore anyways to do all the other stuff. And again, it's like only 3 suits. So it's really not that tough to get like the 270,000 points here, even, right? So I think that is the main thing: forging everything and capturing everything. And the tier 0, I think tier 0 weapons are really, really hard to make, like time-wise essentially, because there are so many of them again. Like tier 0 stage 1 weapons, I think there's like 25 of these. So this is like not super time efficient. This is like the last thing that you do to have everything complete, in my opinion. The same with Illuviums. Suits is easier because there are only 3 suits. So suits is chill. Weapons and Illuviums, the tier 0s are probably what you do last because it's like pretty hard to do. And the major bonus is like the capture all because they themselves give like far less than the other stuff. Okay, so let's look a little bit back at survival and arena because we've talked about the other things and you've seen the other things like point distribution. So reach rank 100 on arena survival leaderboard, reach rank 10, reach rank 1. You only have to reach this. So the survival leaderboard resets at midnight UTC like everything else does in the game. That means if you just play at midnight UTC, you have a really good chance of getting at least like the top 10 and 100, maybe even the rank 1 thing. So I think this is like pretty easy to do and it's like worth the time if like 0 UTC is a time that is like available to you. These Ascendant Arena things, I mean, I did like the 2-win quests on a daily. Maybe I'll keep doing the 2-win daily quests until I start losing games and it becomes annoying. I just happened to be top 100 after playing 2 games. I don't know, it's crazy to me. Like the same with these, it's like it's not like win 500 games, 500k points. Win 500 games if we assume like a high win rate even. Like even at 500 to 0, this is more than 100 hours for only 100k points. It's like way too low basically. I think Illuvium 0 right now, if Illuvium 0 would be like available, I would do all of these because it's like 1 click each or something. It's like really easy to do. If I could do this on the land plots that I had developed currently or before, right? Because if I read this like number, it's like, oh yeah, I need like an end game land plot to do this number with. But yeah, I mean, these I might do if we have like testnet Illuvium 0. If you guys want to play arena, this is like the one team that I made that I can just like here, I can share the link in the comments to you. You just have to put that link into your web browser and it will like make this team for you if you have everything. Why did I make this? Well, especially for suits and weapons, I was looking at the free rotation. You can, if you go into the team builder, for example, at a team and there's a filter option here. You can prioritize owned items or prioritize free rotation items with that. So I checked the free rotation items, and I found that there was a like Arcanite Frost weapon there, and I was like, well, Arcanite Frost weapon, okay. If this is like the best weapon, I don't have to craft a weapon right now because I maybe not have the resources for that. I'm just gonna play like Arcanite Frost kind of thing. I also think that the fundamental thing for PvP is just countering the enemy's hyper is exactly the same as in Overworld, which makes the current PvP 1v1 like kind of like not a great game mode in my opinion right now, because like not really balanced or adapted for it and so on. Like, okay, whatever. That's like a future fix, I think. But basically, if your opponent is like a noob, so to say, and they just go, okay, I'm gonna play my 5 Earth team here, right? And you go, okay, you play 5 Earth, I'm just gonna play like a water bulwark tank, like a Cardulox, right? That's gets hyper, gets crazy damage reduction. I'm gonna put a water empath behind it, like a app, right? Like you don't even need Gazer, just like the little app is enough. The empath is gonna heal the Cardulox. Cardulox is gonna tank everything, and air is not a hard counter to Earth, right? But air eventually gets hyper, and you're gonna have your Jotun be like the crazy damage dealer that's ripping the entire enemy team, right? They play like a nature team. Well, you have like Sea or Scoriox get hyper, they beat the enemy team. Yeah, they play a I don't know, water team or air team. You have Phosphorus that's gonna get hyper. You have Null as like the tank, right, for nature. So that's like the main idea that I had going into this, that I just have like all the options of like some Bulwark and some empath plus some damage dealer combo to counter the enemy team's hyper. Plus I just use the free rotation weapon that was given to me. That's like the main idea. So don't worry too much about having your like 3 fighter or something like that active. Hyper is just the main win con, right? And not allowing your opponent to get hyper as well. So like you can have 2 out of 3 fire only. If your Scoriox gets hyper, it has 200 Omega power more. Fire gives you 15% damage buff. The 200 Omega power give you like far more than that. So let's jump a little bit into the game, new Forge UI and stuff like that. So Forge UI, oh yeah, one thing that changed, it took me a while to find this. The teleporter is now here. I don't know, maybe good side info. Outside of that, we have the Forge, we have the UI changes, right? So armaments, equipments, ingots, shards, gems, drone, skins, and dye. And you see the processing tab now here that previously you saw in, if you hit like I, right, there was like the processing tab here. So if you wonder where that is gone, you will find it here. All right, a cool trick to filter for the new weapons is if you go this, then you only see weapons, by the way. And if you don't want to see the tier zeros, right, you just click all of this and you can quickly see all the new weapons and you can check what all of them do. I mean, that's like really nice for the filter option, basically. Outside of that, you can't really filter for the suits. It's like a bit annoying. If you want to filter for suits, I suggest like here, the tier zeros, for example, you just type suit. And for a lot of the higher tier ones, like we can look at this, it's like mantle. Just type mantle and it has the Rage, the Fury, and the Wrath mantle. So this is how you filter for the suits. So yeah, you guys can see the skins and the dye. Dye is something that you get off Morphopods, but I don't think we can make it in the current build because we can, like here, same with drone sins, right? But this doesn't have a, if you click on it, we cannot see how it's made. And here we see forge it or go to the recipe, we see how it's made, for example. So Morphopods just, yeah, you like, I don't know, you might make these out of Morphopods, but I think lore-wise we need Illuvium 0 to do that, so this not being able to be made is probably like a hint that Illuvium 0 is gonna make it to testnet. I don't know, maybe, right? We'll see about that. Then another interesting thing, gemstones are a lot more relevant. Like I've said before, now you need them for fusing Illuvians. And you sometimes even need 2. For example, if I go and I want to make an Adorius now, or like a Dorito even, I not only can I don't have the XP, but I need 2 gems here. I need a infused resplendent air gem and an infused resplendent nature gem. So you're gonna need a lot of essence as well if you want to fuse Illuvians. I don't know, everybody is done with like Illuvians and fusing and so on, so I don't know how relevant this is gonna be. But yeah, like you might need a lot of the essences for all of this stuff.
Also, air gems are like super rare. I don't know why. Or maybe I just used up a lot of mine. Not sure. What do you guys think? Like for me, I have a lot of these. I think there was a drop rate bug for them, but for these I don't have many. So I'll probably have to farm a lot to get that for all the weapons and so on. So you need a lot of gems, you need a lot of ore to make all of this stuff. I don't know. I think there's not too much more like super relevant stuff that I can say. Right, there's the main changes in the forge. It looks cool. I think the filter options help a lot. And here, left click, you just forge the item, and right click, you go to the recipe. I think a UI thing, a UX thing that could happen is that I can also go back. Right, like I'm at the recipe, I can make it, but I cannot just go back to the thing that I wanted to go back to. One last thing that is maybe relevant, the drone ship, that if you guys haven't made it yet and you want to optimize for airdrop point farming, because you probably need a lot of ores for the crafting, is these Supreme Atomic Conjurants, right? They duplicate ore. Because we need a lot of ore right now, we actually want to be farming for ore. So if you guys don't have these, you probably do want to equip 2 of them. Maybe if you want to commit a lot of hours and time, you might even want to like create these until you hit the random attribute that it is a duplicate ore. Because then you have 17 instead of 12% each. Which I think if you want to grind this hard and spend a lot of hours, it's probably worth to go for this. And the extras that you make, you can just sell on the marketplace for probably hefty Sepolia ETH numbers, and you can buy some other stuff with it then. So yeah, I think that is the main stuff, the Forge UI overlay, the updates. It's mainly the milestones and the missions. You can also see your daily and weekly stuff in the game, and you can just put like pins on it as well. It also shows you in the game if you complete any of these. There's the major changes, my first impressions and ideas and plans explained as well. I hope the video could help you guys. Hope it reached you in time for getting started in this new season. I know there were like some bug issues in the first day, so maybe you guys didn't even start grinding hard yet. And yeah, appreciate you guys hanging out and watching. If you guys want to know more about Arena, like positioning, gameplay, and all of that, you can check out a lot of the old videos, obviously with weapons changes and everything. A lot of it is like outdated, but most of the core themes of like, this is the fighter berserker team, this is the Arcanite team, and so on, that is still pretty much accurate. If you guys want to be like playing a lot of Arena now with the new weapons and so on, you can certainly check out a lot of the old video, and definitely check out the positioning guide videos. I think that is the major thing to understand. So yeah, appreciate you guys hanging out. I don't know what else to say. I think the raffling stuff is more relevant again, or I don't know, some creator program thing. So definitely use like the raffling thing, right? I think there's like the 13 people get one IL. The 13 people that get the most clicks get one ILV per week. I mean, I don't know, I take one ILV per week. That's pretty cool. So appreciate you guys watching, and see ya.